What if you could actually map out a nation's destiny? I mean, almost like reading its genetic code. Well, today we're diving into a fascinating new method that tries to do just that, using a mix of political science, biology, and even AI. It's a massive question, right? Predicting the future is incredibly hard, especially when you're looking almost 50 years down the road. Sure, we can track economies or population trends, but that's really just scratching the surface. What if we could go deeper? What if we could look at the very source code that shapes a nation's potential? You know, predicting the future isn't about gazing into some crystal ball. It's really about understanding the deep underlying structures that guide a country's path. And a new way of thinking suggests that to really see what's coming, you have to decode a nation's core programming. And that brings us to this central idea, a nation's development DNA. Think of it this way. Just like our biological DNA holds the instructions for how we grow, a country's DNA is its fundamental set of laws, regulations, and institutions. It's the blueprint that dictates how that country will evolve over time.
Okay, so how on earth you actually map this so-called DNA? Well, it's done through a framework called the political DNA model, and it's built on a really innovative research approach. Let's pop the hood and see how it works.
The method behind this is seriously cool. It involves creating what are called economic prototypes. Basically, you're taking huge, abstract concepts like governance and turning them into real, tangible models. Imagine building a physical, 3D blueprint of a country's entire legal system. It's all about making the invisible visible.
And this isn't just guesswork, it's a super rigorous 5-step process. You start with the fundamental theory, then you use that to build an actual physical prototype. After that, the model gets digitized, and then it gets supercharged with AI to run simulations and find patterns humans might miss. Finally, you get these clear, visual findings.
So the model essentially boils down a nation's political health into 25 key variables. These are its genes. We're talking about the things you'd expect, like legal protections and banking rules, but also stuff like investment flexibility and how well it controls organized crime. Then, these 25 genes get organized into a 5x5 matrix, which creates a kind of chromosome map of the country's institutional health.
Okay, so that's all the theory. But what does this actually look like when you apply it to the real world? Let's take this powerful model and use it on a case study, the nation of Malaysia. It's time to decode its political DNA. The first number that pops out of the model is a big one, 88%. Now that's Malaysia's overall score for its institutional strength, which is a really solid foundation. But the real story, as always, isn't just in the final grade, it's hidden in the details. And here are those details. This is Malaysia's political DNA map. Each little box in this grid is one of those 25 variables. It's really simple. A 1 means that gene is strong and healthy, but a 0, that's a red flag. That pinpoints a critical weakness, an area that needs serious attention. You can see the country's overall health in a single glance, but you can also see exactly where the problems are. So what does this map really tell us? Well, all those ones show a country with a pretty robust framework. We're talking strong legal systems, stable financial rules. But those 3 zeros are absolutely critical. They shine a bright light on persistent challenges with corruption, weak enforcement against it, and issues controlling organized crime. These are the genetic flaws that are holding the nation back.
Now, the real power of a model like this isn't just about diagnosing today's problems. It's about projecting a path forward. So, using this DNA map, what could Malaysia's future actually look like as it heads towards 2070?
The model actually projects a 3-phase evolution. Phase 1, for the next decade or so, is all about triage, fixing those weaknesses we just saw. Phase 2, leading up to 2050, is about a deep, systemic transformation, using tech like AI to really overhaul governance. And the final phase is about achieving excellence. The goal is to become a top 10 global leader in governance by the year 2070.
And here is the end goal. Ambitious, for sure, but the model says it's achievable. The projection shows that by following this roadmap, all 25 of those variables could become a 1. And that would mean the nation has achieved complete institutional strength, a perfect score.
So this all leads to the most important question, right? What do you do with all this information? Because a model like this is way more than just an academic exercise. It's a practical blueprint for taking action. And this really gets to the heart of why this model is so compelling. Its true value isn't just in predicting the future. It's in providing a clear, evidence-based roadmap to actively build a better one. It lets leaders target their reforms with, well, surgical precision.
So the study lays out some very specific recommendations based on this DNA analysis. To fix those weak spots, it suggests things like making anti-corruption agencies more independent, using tech like AI and blockchain to create more transparency, working with other countries to fight crime, and this one's huge, fostering a culture throughout society that just doesn't tolerate corruption.
So what we've seen is a structured path toward a better future, all by decoding a nation's political DNA. Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. What would the DNA map of your own country look like? And what would it tell you about the road ahead?